Okay, welcome to economics, or excuse me, finance. Excuse me, this is finance, business 311 with I'm James Yohe, Dr. James Yohe. I'm with Huntington College, and today I am going to talk about the variable growth model. Okay, now here we're looking at the textbook, and you can see that the variable growth model is a dividend valuation approach that allows for a change in the growth of the dividend rate. Okay. We've already looked at the zero and constant growth common stock models, and they don't allow for a change in the growth rate. Because future growth rates might shift up or down because of changing business conditions, it's useful to consider a variable growth model that allows for a change in the dividend growth rate. We will assume here that there's a single shift in this growth rate, and it occurs at the end of some year N. So it could be 3 years, 5 years, etc. And what we're doing here is we're saying, okay, maybe this company, let's say, has come out with a new product, okay? And maybe they have a patent or copyright or something on this product. Okay, it could be computer software, it could be a product, okay? Now, during some period of time, they're going to have a growth in this dividend. And then after this period end, we're going to have some constant growth rate that's different from, say, the first 5 years. So what we're doing here is nothing you haven't already done. Okay. A lot of times you'll see in these growth models, we'll have, say, 5 years, and they'll say these are predicted dividends over 5 years, maybe because of this new product. And the growth rate for these dividends is either constant or not constant, but these are the 5 years. Then after 5 years, starting in the 6th year, we're going to have a constant growth rate that's usually lower, okay, because other firms are going to get into the market. The market might get saturated, or not saturated, but closer to saturation, and the growth rate's going to slow down usually. So what we're going to do, okay, and we'll go to the next page here, okay, is you got all this math, okay? This first part here, find the value of the cash dividend at the end of each year, okay? During the initial growth period, years 1 through N. So D sub T is going to be the growth year for, say, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. So we're going to do that for each year. To do that is very simple. It's very much like what we did in chapter 5, I believe. I might have the wrong chapter, but where we did a future value. Okay, so here we have, instead of an interest rate, we have a growth rate for the first period of time. So during the first 5 years, maybe this dividend is going to grow at a certain rate, say 8%, because it's a new product and it's going to grow faster than it would once the market has become saturated, it's been commoditized, or the patent or the copyright has run out on this product. So we're going to do this 5 times, okay? If n is equal to 5. N could be 3, 4, 5, whatever. We're going to do it this number of times. So we're going to calculate the the dividend in year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? That's the first thing. Then we're going to set that aside. We're going to add those up, and we're going to come back to them later. Okay? Oh, excuse me, not we're going to add those. We're going to use those dividends. Okay? Then we're going to find the present value of the dividends expected during that initial growth period. So once we've got these dividends calculated over the next 5 years, we're going to take the present value of them, okay, for each of these 5 years. Dividends, calculate the present value of those dividends, okay, for years 1 through capital N. And if you look here, okay, we're taking the initial dividend, calculating it in year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, discounting it for 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years, depending upon how long it is away. And then we're adding them up. Another way we can do this is we can just say that the sum of I equals 1 to n is equal to the dividend in time t divided by 1 plus our discount rate to the t power. Okay, and remember, this is a stock program, so it's going to be what I called the discount rate. What do we call it? Well, it's the common stock required necessary rate of return. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to find the value of the stock at the end of the initial growth period, and we're going to stick that to the side. Okay. Then we're going to calculate the present value of all the dividends expected after year end. So in this case, we're going to find the present value of all of the dividends in year 5 for year 6 on until infinity, assuming that these dividends after this initial period, year 6 and on, grow at a constant dividend rate. And we're calling that new rate that the dividends are going to grow at G2. So that's the growth rate for the second period after year N. We said N was 5, so this is going to be the growth rate of the dividend starting in year 6 going on into infinity. And for that, we use the constant growth model. And we're calculating the present value of them in year 5. So we still have to do some more work after this. We're saying, okay, when we get to year 5, we can use this constant growth model and calculate the present value of those dividends on into the indefinite future in year 5. Okay. You can see the calculation here. Okay. We're going to take 1 over 1 plus r to the n power and then multiply it by the present value of those dividends the dividends start in year 6. So let's do one of these problems here. And then we're going to, the last step is we're going to add the present value of the dividends in that initial growth period, years 1 through 5. And we're going to add them to the value of those dividends discounted from year 5 for the second period. This is not hard. Don't sit there and say, oh my gosh, look at all those equations. You've done all of this. You've done all of this on your assignments and the problems. It's just keeping it straight and ordered in your head. Step 1, calculate the dividend rate during that initial growth period, year 1 through N. Then, once you have those dividends for year 1 through N, calculate the present value of each one, then add them up. That is just this stuff here. Once you've done that, take your constant growth model, which you've already done, calculate the present value of those things in year N, 5 for our case, for the dividends from year 6 to infinity. That's what the growth model does. You don't have to do any individual calculation. We just say, here's the dividend in time n plus 1, calculate the constant growth or the Gordon growth model, and then take that value and discount it 5 years. Okay? This is not difficult. Then once we've done that, that's this part here. We take the value from step 3, add it to the value we got back here in step 2, that's this thing, and that is the present value of the stock. This is not difficult. Don't stress it. You've already done it. Okay, if you look here on my piece of notebook paper here, or legal paper here, you can see here I'm setting up a table. Now, I need the present value of the dividends in year 1, 2, and 3. And they're going to grow at a 25% rate. So I've got 1.25 to the t power. Here is the dividend that was just paid. We're not getting this. Somebody else got this. So we want to calculate the dividends for year 1, year 2, and year 3. That's step 1. Then we're going to take the present value of those dividends, and that is going to be step 2. So we're combining step 1 and step 2 here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 1.25 and we're going to take it to the t power. So 1.25 to the t power, which is 1, is 1.25. We'll multiply this times 1.25, and that will tell us what the dividend is in year 1. And that's going to be $3.19. Now, we're going to take 1.25 squared to the second power, and that is 1.5625. And when we multiply that, you can't see what I'm doing here, I'm sorry. When we multiply that times the initial dividend of $2.55, we're going to get a second year dividend of $3.98. Okay, you can do that on your calculators. Okay, there's 2 ways to do it. You can just take the initial dividend and multiply it by 1 plus 0.25 to the t power. And that will get you this dividend. Or you could use your handy dandy calculator and type in $2.55 present value, then type in 25 IY 1 as your N, and then hit compute, and the future value button. Okay, so you can do it either way, and that's going to get you these numbers I'm getting here. So for the third year, I take 1.25 to the third power, and I'm going to get 1.9531. Calculate the dividend rate, which is, the third year dividend, which is 2.55 times 1.9531, and I'm going to get a third year dividend of $4.98. Now here, for my problem, capital N is equal to 3. We have 3 years of these exceptionally high dividend growth rate. 3 years of dividends at this high growth rate of 25%. So that's step 1. So put a little line there. That's step 1. Now step 2, we're going to take the present value of those dividends. And again, you can do this 2 ways. We could take the dividend in year T and divide it by 1 plus our required return on common stock, or a discount rate. Okay, and do that for years 1 through N. Or we could just use our handy dandy calculator. We can take the dividend in year T, okay, And that is going to be our future value now. We can calculate we can use our IY from the problem, and we discount these returns at 15%. So we can hit 15 and then the IY button. And then whatever number T is, 1, 2, or 3, enter that for N, and then hit compute present value. So here, the present value of this $3.19 dividend comes out to be $2.77. I'm taking 3.19 and I'm dividing it by 1.15 to the first power. And I'm getting 277. I can then take, and I'm going to do this one on the calculator to make it easier for you to see. Okay, I'll do the calculator here instead of off the screen. Here, we're going to take that second dividend. We're going to calculate the present value of it. So I'm going to take 3.98. I'm going to divide it by 1.15 squared, because this is 2 years out. And I'm going to get the wrong answer. Okay, I don't know what I did, but I made an error there on the calculator, so we'll do it again. So I'm going to take $3.98. That's the dividend in year 2. And I'm going to divide it by 1.15 squared. And I'm going to get $3.01. You can see I'm rounding that to 1 cent. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take 1.15 and take it to the third power. Okay, I know why that wasn't working. I'm using the wrong keys. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to take, $4.98. $4.98. And we're going to divide it by 1.15 to the third power. And when we do that, we're going to get a third-year dividend value of $3.27. Now, I could have done this on my calculator. I don't have a screen for the BA2 Plus, but I could have taken $3.19, entered that as a future value. 15% is my IY. I could have entered 1 for the number of periods away this is, and then hit compute present value. I could have taken the $3.98 dividend that I'm earning in year 2, put that in as a future value, put 15 in as my IY, and 2 in here for my N, and then hit compute present value, and I would have gotten these same numbers. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one more thing, and I'm going to add these up, and I'm going to get $9.05. So the present value from years 1 through N, 1 through 3, is equal to $9.05. I'm going to save that for step 4, because in step 4, I'm going to add it to the value I get from the years N plus 1 to affinity using the common growth model or the Gordon model, and then taking the present value of those from year 5 back to now. And that's going to give me in step 4 the total value of this stock at a 15% discount rate or required return on common stock. So those are steps 1 and 2. Step 3 is not very hard. Here, I'm going to use the Gordon growth model. And I'm going to say the present value in year N is equal to D, going back to our equation here, we're going to do this growth model. D, the dividend that is paid in year N plus 1, N is the 3rd year, so this is going to be we're going to calculate the dividend for the 4th year. Then we're going to divide it by the required return on common stock or a discount rate, which was 15%, minus the 2nd period growth rate. Okay, so we're going to go back and do that. I'm going to pause it and go back to our problem. And once we get that, we're going to take the present value of it. I'm doing it in 2 separate steps just to make it easy. We're going to calculate the present value of those year 4 to infinity dividends at the G2 growth rate. But that present value is going to be in year 5. Once we've done this, we're going to take this year 5 value, make it a future value, and then discount it back to today. So here, we're back to the problem. Whenever you got variables, to find them. dn plus 1, I need to know what that is. Okay, so dn was equal to $3.27. That was the dividend in year 3. We want the dividend in year 4. We don't know what it is. Now, the dividends after the 3rd year don't grow at that 25%. Instead, G2 is 10% or 0.1. Okay. So to calculate the value of dn plus 1, we're going to take d of n, that was our 3rd year, and we're going to multiply it by 1 plus the 2nd period growth rate, G2. So I'm going to get $3.27, $4.98. And we're going to multiply that by 1 plus 0.1 to the 1st power. That's going to come out to, dn plus 1 is going to come out to be equal to $5.48. So the dividend in year 4, or dn plus 1, is $5.48. All right, I just had to transfer what I had earlier onto another page. Up here you can see I got the same growth rate, 10%. This is the required return on common stock, which is 0.15. This takes into account the risk of buying this stock. The dividend payment in year N plus 1, which is our 4th year, is $5.48. I've got everything I need to calculate the present value of those N plus 1 dividend rates in year 4. So the present value, in year 3. The present value in year 3 is equal to $5.48 divided by 0.15 minus 0.1. That comes out to be equal to $5.48 divided by 0.05, and that is going to come out to be equal to $109.56, the present value in year 3. So we're not done. I still have to discount this back to today. So I'm going to take 1 over 1 plus the required return on common stock to the third power. And I'm going to multiply that times the present value of those returns in year 3. So this is 1 over 1 plus 0.05, excuse me, 0.15, my fault. 15 cubed times $109.56. So that's 1 over 1.15 cubed times $109.56. And the present value of those future returns from year n plus 1 to infinity is $72.04. So now, step 4, I can add the $9.05, that was the present value of years 1 through 3, to the present value of 4 to infinity, which is $72.04, and come up with an $81.09 value. 8109. I'm sorry, you missed all of that. There we go. Okay. The $9.05, that was what we got from step 2. Okay. Plus the $72.04, which is the present value of the $109.56 future value that we calculated for the returns from year 4 to infinity, and we did the present value of them 3 years from now. Then we took the present value of that and got it to today's number. So we're $72.04 today, plus the $9.05. That comes out to $81.09. I hope this helped. Thank you very much.